Fellow Toastmasters, or fellow, yes, Toastmasters. How many of you love to play games? I've always loved to play games, and I play all types of games. Card games, board games, party games, video games. I consider sports games, as I hope most of you do. And there's something that ties all of these games together, which is that a game consists of a virtual world or an alternate world with boundaries and constraints. It has a start and an end, and it has rules, and it has an objective, and players that choose to abide by these rules and enter into this game world. Well, when you think of games, though, what are the sort of adjectives that come to mind? I think we may think trivial or inconsequential, waste of time, sort of meaningless. But for me, games have been anything but this. They've actually facilitated a lot of relationships, and they've basically made my life more meaningful and brought a bunch of new experiences to me. So with that, I'd like to share at least one example of this that might be a bit awkward, but that I think that some of you may relate to. So first, let's see how many people recognize this game.
Quarters?
Drinking?
Spin the one bottle. We have a child here.
Aaron, see me after the meeting.
I'm a winner.
So I had the opportunity to play this game once, and it was in the summer. I don't remember exactly how old I was. It must have been 5th or 6th grade, somewhere around there. It was one of those weird times where there was just no adults or parents around ever. I don't know where they all were, but it was just us kids around the neighborhood wandering around having adventures. My friend Tommy, who was an enterprising young man, managed to gather a group of us together to play this game. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Spin the Bottle, I'll give you the basics. Well, sorry, and I'll give you the background here. Usually you get a mixed group of girls and boys, or men and women, if you're into that type of thing. And you sit down in a circle, and you take turns spinning a bottle. And when it lands on a person of the opposite sex, you get up, you go to the other room, you kiss in some form or another, and then you come back and you keep playing around, right? So that's the way it works. Well, so I had the opportunity to play this. First time, I had zero experience. It was a nerve-wracking situation. I was very, very concerned. I didn't know how this was going to go down, but I wasn't about to back down. So we all get together in a circle. It's all the neighborhood kids. I get my turn. I spin. We stand up. We go to the other room. Both of us are just awkward. We don't know what to do. Neither of us will really make a move. So then it's just kind of a peck on the cheek. Go back out. So I sit and wait. He goes around, comes back to me. I spin again, and I get the older girl, 2-3 years older, the object of everyone's affection. Jackpot. So I knew something was going to happen. We stand up, we go to the back room, and I'm thinking, what's going to happen? And she's like, well, what type of kiss do you want? And I'm like, I don't know, whatever. So she comes in to make her move, and I'm completely unprepared. I don't know what to do. So, and it's weird, I can't even remember if we embraced or if I was just sort of like this. But, we made it happen. We had teeth. I didn't breathe through my nose. I almost choked and coughed. But when it was all over, I walked out of the room, I was smiling. I had been changed. I had a new air of confidence about it. The next time it came around, I said, let's go. We went off to the room, and it was great. It was a game. This game facilitated a real-life, memorable experience that I will never forget. That was meaningful. It was anything but inconsequential. And I think that that's something that I'd like to sort of think about and have all of you think about, is whether or not games still are present in your life. Or have you moved on? Have you graduated from games? And for me, games, again, have tied relationships together for me. I connected with my wife's family through games. And they're like serious gamers. Like, they don't consider that you've played a game unless somebody is crying or injured. But that's how I connected with her whole family. And it goes beyond just personal relationships. Games exist in the business world as well. If you're familiar with the book called Gamestorming, or the site gogamestorming.com, it's a collection of a bunch of games that you can play in business settings and meetings to arrive at conclusions. It's divergence and convergence of ideas and brainstorming activities, things that make it fun, but you arrive at real business solutions. And so these are all highly applicable and great games to include as part of your business process. So what's the point? Again, I think it's just to reflect on whether or not games have a bad rap, whether or not we should reconsider games as something important as part of our lives, as part of meeting new friends, deepening our relationships with the people that we know, or possibly meeting somebody new or getting a new experience. And so with that, I'd like to also propose the first Toastmasters game night, if anyone is terribly interested. I would like to help coordinate that. And so appreciate all of your time, and thank you, and game on.